Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome in. Welcome to Community Conversations, our monthly webinar series where we ask what you guys want to hear and have important conversations to benefit our students and our families in the Richmond County school system. So I am your host, Haley Augusta, Director of Media and PR, and I am so excited, out of breath even, to talk about today's topic. So we're here tonight talking about athletics, dual enrollment, clubs, anything that your child can do outside of the classroom to really enhance their experience in our schools and help them thrive. So I'm joined by some really special guests today. First off, we have our athletic director, Mr. Lawrence Kelly. We also, from the high school workforce development side, our director of high school programming and workforce development, Dr. Stacy Mabry. And then two hard hitters from our teaching and learning teams, Chief Academic Officer Kenesha Ponder and Assistant Director of Teaching and Learning, Mr. Jason Medlin. Hi guys, thank you for joining us today. So if you guys have never joined us at one of our community conversations, here's how it works. Our presenters, our amazing presenters here, are going to give a little bit of a presentation, kind of giving an overview of all the things as much as possible, because there's so many things that your child can do outside the classroom and extracurricular wise. And then after that presentation, we'll go into our Q&A session where we answer your questions. So if you're joining us and you submitted a question in advance, then we took those questions and we prepped for them so that we can answer them live on the air. But if you think of another question here today, while our presenters are talking, you can also click the button on your panel on the bottom of your screen that says Q&A to submit a question, and we'll see it live. So just a few ground rules. So if you have something really specific about you and your child and your school, we might not answer that on air, but we'll certainly take that question and we'll make sure that it's answered. But before I hand it off to our panelists, tell us who you are. Tell us where you're coming from. We want to see who is joining us today. So without further ado, we're going to start our presentations off with Mr. Kelly. How are you doing today, Mr. Kelly?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. So we're going to pull up a quick presentation and get started with athletics and then move on to some of our extracurriculars and high school workforce development. So take it away, Mr. Kelly.
All right, so we can go ahead and move to the next slide, Haley. All right, so just a little bit about the sports that are offered at the middle school level. Currently, we have football, basketball, baseball, track and field, and golf for boys sports, and then girls sports. We got basketball, softball, track and field, and golf. Like I said, that's the middle school sports that's offered. We can go to the next slide, Haley. The high school sports that are offered, they're obviously a little bit more extensive than what the middle school offers. Boys sports, you got football, you got basketball, baseball, soccer, track and field, cross country, golf, tennis, wrestling. Select schools have swimming. Select schools have the one act play, literary, and the esports. Then you go to the girls sports. You got flag football, you got basketball, volleyball, softball, cross country, track and field, golf, wrestling, and then once again, select schools have swimming, one act play, and literary. So some important start dates. The next slide, we can go to the next slide. Some important start dates. I know that's usually the biggest question about making sure that your kids have the opportunity to play these sports. And the start date for fall sports, which currently we're in, cheerleading, football, softball, volleyball, cross country, one act play, and literary. Those start dates was actually July 27th. Not saying that your child cannot attend those now. However, it's upon the coach's discretion. So they would just have to actually reach out to the coach, the athletic director, or even the principal just to get some more information on whether they'll be able to partake in those sports. However, if they're not interested in those sports, they can actually, September 7th is when we actually start flag football tryouts. And these dates that I'm giving you are actual Georgia high school dates. Like I said, that's the first day that tryouts and practice can actually begin. Some teams are actually conditioning prior to that. but the official practice date are those dates. And then swimming begins on October 5th. Moving from the fall sports in winter, the winter sports you have are basketball and wrestling. Those tryout dates, they start October 19th. And then the spring sports, you have tennis, soccer, track and field, baseball, and golf. And those actually begin January 25th. So, like I said, the important start dates, those are the most important things of when your child can actually partake in those sports. We can move to the next slide, Haley. One of the biggest things I want to sit down and actually address is eligibility. That's probably the biggest thing. Georgia high school rules actually change. They changed last year. It's a lot of different moving parts when actually discussing your child moving from one school to the next. If you decide to transfer your school, your child from, for instance, maybe Richmond to West Side. One of the biggest things is when they come in as ninth graders, they're automatically eligible. But once they start transferring, if they decide to transfer from one school to the next, the biggest thing is students granted transfer by the district are not granted athletic eligibility at the varsity level. So obviously we have a thing called House Bill 251. And with us having House Bill 251, I mean, most kids, they can elect to go to a different school, but that does not necessarily make them eligible upon Georgia high school rules. Just some things about Georgia high school. If they're transferring Georgia high school member school to another, it requires a bona fide move. Certain required documents have to be in place. Lease termination, must have a new lease at the new place that you're going to, must have updated driver's license for not only the parent, but everybody in the household that drives. All family members vacating the prior residence. Nobody can stay in the prior residence that you was in. All utilities must be disconnected from the prior residence, and then you have to do a change of address form through the post office. Then the last thing you got to do is athletic eligibility form. So that's just some things I want to address in regards to eligibility, because I think that's one of the biggest things when a child decides to partake in a sport at one school, but then decides to go to another school to play. We just want to make sure that they're eligible. We want to make sure that they got all the information that they need for them to actually partake in the sport at the next school.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that, Coach Kelly. I'm really excited to see some of our fall sports come to fruition and watch the season. I think we had such a strong opening for football. I've loved seeing everybody post about their first games and all that kind of stuff. So excited to see that come through in the fall. And then basketball starts soon too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Well, we'll ask some more questions from Coach Kelly in a little bit, but let's move on now to some of the academic competitions and things like that. Ms. Ponder and Mr. Medlin, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Haley. So one of the best ways for students to feel connected to school is to get involved in something that they enjoy. And so Richmond County School System schools offer opportunities for boys and girls across all grade levels to compete, create, perform, and lead. For example, depending on the school, performing arts opportunities may include orchestra, concert, marching band, chorus, theater, dance. And then for students who enjoy reading, writing, science, math, and other subjects, there's also opportunities at our schools through academic teams and competitions. Some of those examples include the Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl, Young Georgia Authors, Math Team, Science Fair, Spelling Bee, Academic Decathlon, and other school-based competitions and teams. The programs that are available and the process for joining those programs may vary by school. So if you want to find out what extracurricular programs, including music, art, clubs, academic teams, competitions are offered, you do want to start with your child's school. So you can ask a teacher, a counselor, a media specialist, a club sponsor, fine arts teacher, or an administrator, what's available and how your child can participate. Yeah. So very excited about the opportunities we have at our schools.
And in the Richmond County school system, we value our parents, all of our families and our students. And our mission is empowering every student, every learner, every day. So we're working to empower all of our learners, our adults, our students, and also we're working to support in every situation. So you'll see here on the screen that there are some tips, some different tips that we share with our families. We encourage regular attendance from our students. So parents, family members, help us to make sure that our students are attending school on a regular basis so that they can provide, that they can be in attendance to be a part of that high quality instruction that is being provided from our teachers every day. We also have on our schedule for our school year calendar dedicated parent-teacher conferences. And we also encourage parents and family members to schedule time outside of the parent-teacher conferences if you feel that you need more time to speak with your child's teacher. This also provides our students an opportunity to participate in student-led conferences so that they can highlight their strengths, also talk about the progress that they have made alongside their teacher, and work to provide fillers in those gaps in instruction that they have. We utilize Canvas as our learning management system. Parents, students, utilize Canvas to support your learning needs. Our students are able to access Canvas through Launchpad, in addition to other digital resources and learning tools that are aligned to our district supported resources. We encourage our families to also monitor their grades, the grades of the students inside of Infinite Campus, to stay abreast to the needs that the children may have. We have literacy initiatives within our school district. We believe that strong reading skills open doors to every subject in every future. Throughout these literacy initiatives, we're helping our students to become confident, lifelong readers with engaging lessons, fun challenges, and easy access to books. All of our students have access to the Beanstack platform, and you'll see that logo listed down below at the bottom of the slide. Students access Beanstack through their Launchpad. So as they're reading each day, they're logging the number of minutes that they are reading. So we're encouraging families, ask the children what they're reading and read together at home as much as you can. Each of our students also have access to the free library cards through Pines Play Cards with the Augusta Public Library. Talk with your media specialist and your teacher if you have questions about how to access those great resources. In addition to, we'd like to highlight the free tutoring opportunities that we have for all of our students. In grades K through 12, we have Varsity Tutor. Our students are able to access Varsity Tutor through their Launchpad. And let me restate that, this is for students in kindergarten through 12th grade. We also have an additional opportunity for students in grades 9 through 12. This is Georgia Tutor. Our students access this, and you'll see the URL. They access it through their Infinite Campus SLDS through their platform. There are specific courses for high school that are there, and the students are able to arrange a tutor for that one-to-one support in those specialized courses. Thank you so much for taking this time, and please highlight all of these opportunities that are available to support our students beyond the school day.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of resources available for our students. We'll send a copy of these slides to all of you who register, just so you have access to these links as well. And something to note about the academic competitions. We touched on it really briefly, but in the spring, it is a flood of activity. All of our schools, upper elementary and high schools and middle schools, participate in a science fair, a district science fair, and then a lot of our students advance to the regional, state, and sometimes even national competitions. That's always awesome to see their amazing and innovative projects. Our reading bowl is really fun. I love seeing how the students compete with each other and also, talk with each other and really have their own personal book clubs at school. Debate team, academic decathlon, all of those are just, a huge time inside of the school too, so that you don't have to, um, wait until after school to participate in some of these events, like the spelling bee and things like that. So, thank you for that, Jason and Kanisha. Again, if you guys are just joining us, if you click that Q&A button on your screen and submit your question, we'll answer it live on air. But before we do that, I want to turn it over to Dr. Stacy Mabry to talk a little bit to those middle and high school students about career-oriented organizations and competitions and all that stuff.
All right. So, great evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Stacy Mabry, and I will be sharing a little bit about high school programming and workforce development. And know that our department also does touch down to middle school, and we're really excited about all the wonderful things that we have to offer. Our hashtag is CTAE, it delivers. Next slide, please. So, parents and students, we have 78 CTAE pathway programs that are offered in our 14 career clusters at each of our high schools and at our middle schools. In addition to those 78 pathways that are career focused, students also have an opportunity to earn a fine arts, world language, or an advanced studies pathway. Every high school student should have a pathway, the thing that they're investigating so they can figure out what's next when they get to the world of adulthood. Next slide, please. One of the things that we do best in the area of CTAE is what we call CTSOs, and that's Career Technical Student Organizations. So there are a number of CTSOs that are available, and in Richmond County, all of our CTSOs are available with the exception of Cengage. And Cengage is a new CTSO that just started last year. So we're working to get our JRTC units moving in that direction. But DECA, FBLA, Skills, TSA, FCCLA, FFA, First Robotics, HOSA, as well as CTI, all of these things are available in our schools based upon the pathways that they serve. And we have lots of kids that go to competitions, and our CTSOs are co-curricular. So when your students take a marketing class, they should become a member of DECA. When they take an ag class, they should be a part of FFA because that's a part of what we do in CTAE. Next slide, please. In addition, I want to share with you a little bit about dual enrollment opportunities. One of the questions that came in advance was, what if that pathway is not offered at my school? No worries. If the pathway is not offered at your school, you can actually start a pathway at our technical college. So dual enrollment is an opportunity for students as young as 10th grade to take college courses for college credit. If you go to the technical school, you can actually begin your pathway. If you go to another university, whether it's Augusta University or Payne College, dual enrollment starts in the 11th grade if it's not a career technical course. But the best thing about this, parents, is that the state pays for dual enrollment course credit up to 30 hours, which means that your child can almost earn a full associate's degree by taking their college classes while they're in high school. And you say, well, Dr. Maybe you said almost. Yep, almost. But our district just is launching a new support program to be able to help students beyond those 30 hours so that we can help you pay for college. I tell people all the time, dual enrollment is like a coupon for college. College is expensive, and the more that they can get done while in high school, the better it is for them and also the better it is for your pocketbook. Next slide, please. The other great opportunity that we have inside of CTAE is something called work-based learning. Work-based learning is an opportunity for a student to earn an academic credit while learning on the job. So if your student already has a job, whether it's in their pathway, excuse me, in their pathway or not, they can actually earn credit for working and through work-based learning. It's a really awesome opportunity. They need to see their counselor. Our work-based learning opportunities for this semester closed on August 21st, but we'll be taking more students in the month of January. So be on the lookout for those opportunities. Next slide, please. We do have three really amazing opportunities that are programs inside the Richmond County school system that come from high school programming and workforce development and CTAE. So the Cyber Center of Excellence, if a student is interested in learning more about cyber and getting industry certification in that area, this is a program that offers morning and afternoon classes, transportation is provided, and your student actually stays the student of their home school. So for example, if you're a Butler High School student, you can take cyber classes in the morning and then take the remainder of your classes in the afternoon at Butler High School. You are a Butler High School student participating in the cyber program. Next slide, please. Another amazing program that we have that's available to our students, grades 9 through 12, same thing with cyber, is our Marion E. Barnes Career Center. At Marion E. Barnes Career Center, students can learn barbering, carpentry, cosmetology, how to construction with fine furniture, HVAC, masonry, plumbing, nails, and welding. And again, it's one of those programs where a kid could take classes in the afternoon at the Marion Barnes Center and take their regular classes at their zone high school. So it's a program. So they're a member of their high school, but taking classes at the Marion E. Barnes Center. And yes, transportation is provided. Next slide, please. And then our last specialized program, a little different than Marion Barnes and Cyber Center, is called RPM, or Reaching Potential Through Manufacturing. This is our manufacturing opportunity. Students get a chance not only to learn about manufacturing, but these students are actually employed through Textron Specialized Vehicles. They earn a living wage, they grow through HR, and they learn. So they do work-based learning as a part of this program. RPM program is a little different than Marion Barnes and Cyber. Students are actually enrolled at RPM. So no longer at their zone school, they're at RPM, and RPM has about 75 to 100 slots, and so they go very quickly. So if you're interested in RPM, please reach out. Next slide, please. And then I want to share with you a few student opportunities. I had an opportunity to share with the Board of Education at our last meeting that we had 103 student interns that had paid internships during the summer. So we had 103 students that earned $170,685 by working and learning and earning during the summer. And that's through our Students to Work program. So that's a specialized partnership between the Richmond County Board of Education and Augusta Metro Chamber. That QR code will take you to their website. The applications will open in December, and as soon as those come out, students and parents will be pushing that out. Again, we had 103, but next year I want to have 206. Let's double those numbers. Next slide, please. And then a couple more student opportunities. The student internship mobile app design internship dropped today. So we have a specialized 4-week internship that is paid for students to help our middle school students learn how to build mobile applications. So if you're a student who's a digital technology student or a tech student or in one of our technical pathways, or if you're somebody who really is one of those computer techie kids like, I can teach some middle school kids how to do this, please apply for this opportunity. This closes on September 3rd. It's $13 an hour. It's a 22-hour internship. And what you'll be doing is helping young people learn how. So reaching back and helping our middle school students. And for our middle school parents that are on here, there's also something with your counselors for your student to participate in this mobile app design competition sponsored by the Men of Omega Sci-Fi. And so we're really excited to partner with them. And another opportunity that is coming up, and I am really excited about it, is not quite ready for launch, but it's almost there. For our students who have been working in cosmetology and been in the cosmetology pathway, there's about 400 or 500 service hours they have to get in order to get their cosmetology license. So we have partnered with some local cosmetologists who are going to offer paid apprenticeships so that our students can finish off their hours, get their license. So we're working out the particulars of that with our lawyers, of course, to make sure that we have everything. But for the students, young men and young ladies in barbering and cosmetology, we are going to have something for you to earn while you learn. Next slide, please. So for more information, please feel free to reach out to any one of my staff members. As we talk about high school programming and workforce development, we are really, really excited about the opportunities that are available for our students. So parents and students alike, please know that our pathways are here. We get you certifications, we can get you hired, we pay for students to have internships. So don't believe what you heard that it's not happening, because it is happening right here in Richmond County. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mabry. And I want to emphasize a few things, a few tips from Haley for success. First, those CTSOs, those organizations, the DECA, the FBLA, the FFA. Definitely, if you're interested in any of those fields, join one of those. Great networking opportunities. You get to go on trips a lot, and who doesn't love going on trips with their friends and going to conferences around the state? So that's a great opportunity. Another one is take advantage of those dual enrollment and work-based learning opportunities. And you can work all over Richmond County. Communications has their own work-based learning intern, and she's really been on the ground learning and kind of producing real work that you guys are seeing every day from communications. So absolutely take advantage of those resources. So thank you guys for that high-level overview. I think it's time to take some questions. So again, if you're just joining us, please feel free to click on the Q&A button and submit your questions. But we're going to kind of jump around. So people who submitted a lot of the same questions, I kind of grouped it into one. We're here till 7, so I'm going to try as hard as possible to answer as many as we can. But I'm going to start off, if we can, with you, Dr. Mabry. I have a question here that was submitted online before our event today. So can you tell me a little bit about the graphic design pathway? How can someone get involved with it, and what does it look like in our schools?
So currently, graphic design is not one of the 78 pathways that we offer here in the Richmond County Schools. However, remember what I said about dual enrollment. So through Augusta University as well as Augusta Technical College, students who are interested in graphic design can take their 3 courses in the pathway, earn their college credit, and actually graduate with a certificate or diploma, and if they do enough work, an associate's degree in graphic design from the actual institution and university. So if there's questions about that, please feel free to send us an email or go by and see your school counselor so we can get your child signed up.
Yeah, and maybe apply for work-based learning. Communications at the Richmond County School System is always looking for people who want to be graphic designers, aspiring graphic designers.
Absolutely.
For Ms. Ponder and Mr. Medlin, a question about music and singing. Are there any music and singing programs geared for children in elementary school? More specifically, 5th graders that are interested in music production, or 3rd grader, kindergarten students that are interested in singing in musicals?
I'll take that one. So for our elementary school students, we do offer classes during the day, and it may not be at every elementary school. So as I said earlier, it's going to be specific to that school as far as what electives are going to be offered for those students, what specials, whether it's art or music, theater or drama, some of the other specials that are offered at elementary school. So it's really worth a reach out to your school to inquire into what those programs are and what might be offered. There could be a specialized club for that if there's a student interest or even teacher interest. But the starting point for that, to answer that question, is going to be your child's specific school.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know it's something that happens when we get closer to the holidays, is that when I go into elementary schools, I hear all of the little choirs practicing for their Christmas concerts and all sorts of fun stuff. So I'm sure there's going to be opportunities at your school. For Mr. Kelly, so I have a question here that was submitted in advance, and a few questions that kind of all relate to the same thing. Can you tell us about magnet schools? How come magnet school students aren't allowed to participate in more traditional sports like basketball and football?
So currently, the way it's actually done is like basketball and football they are not currently offered at the magnet schools, and that's due to basically like lack of participation, of course, for those sports. However, I mean, it might be something going forward that might change, but I mean, currently they're not offered at the magnet schools.
Yeah, so logistically, a few things are involved with it, right? You have to have student participation. You have to have enough students to fill out a team. Otherwise, they're going to struggle in that sport, right?
Correct.
Additionally, having those logistics, having a coach there, and things like that. So, but certainly we were taking your feedback, and we hear you that it's something that you guys are interested in. Okay, I have a question here. I'm going to go look in our live chat now. For Dr. Mabry, I'll give you another one. And you might not know specifically about this, but maybe generally. This person goes to Hephzibah High School. If they are enrolled in the CTSO, is it too late for them to change their career field? So it might be a question perhaps about their pathway.
Right. So first of all, the purpose of working through pathways in high school is so that you have options. So sometimes kids take a pathway and say, you know what, I thought I wanted to do this. This is not for me. So I will say this, as long as you're enrolled, it is never too late. So the person that you want to reach out to about your child's pathway is the school counselor, and the CTSO would be their CTSO advisor. So two different things, but somebody at the school can help you. And if you need to, shoot me an email and we'll figure it out together.
So Kanisha and Jason, I have a question about tutoring for you guys. Are there any criteria required to access Georgia Tutor or what is it, Varsity Tutor? Is a tutor virtual or is it in person?
Great question. Varsity Tutor, that is a virtual experience. The criteria, this is free to our students that are part of the Richmond County School System, and they can access that through Launchpad. With Georgia Tutor, this is also a free opportunity for our high school students. The criteria is that they must be enrolled in a Georgia public school. So all of our students can access this if they're in grades 9 through 12 for that specialized support in those identified content area subjects to be able to help them to reinforce what's happening inside the classroom. Now, the Georgia Tutor experience, the students select their tutor. These are tutors that are certified in Georgia. So these are classroom teachers, and it is a face-to-face virtual experience. So you have a live tutor on once you access and schedule that session. These sessions are offered outside of the regular school hours. That's important to know. So once you log in and you look at the availability of the tutors, then you can schedule a specific day and time to align with the specific needs. So for example, if you're working to practice prior to an upcoming unit assessment, you want to schedule frequent opportunities with your tutor if you need that. And then you'll be able to help be prepared and strengthen your skills.
Yeah, and it's all virtual, right? You kind of had that one-on-one, you
Yes.
log in on your device, but it's a real
Correct.
person, it's a live person that's coming on to help you with it.
It's a live person for Georgia Tutor. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, not sure if this is a club question or a sports question, but I have a question about esports. Are esports available in our district and specifically for middle school?
So they're not offered in middle school. However, they are offered at some of the high schools. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to answer that one.
But it's a two-part question. Esports is a part of FBLA. So in a CTAE pathway, you can take esports not for competition purposes, such as for Georgia High School, but kids do actually do esports and game design in our high schools as a part of our FBLA, and that can also fall down to middle school. So yep, esports all around.
Esports is becoming huge. People are
Yes,
getting
ma'am.
scholarships for esports. So certainly something to explore, right? Things that we should look into.
Team, there was if you scroll down a little bit, there's a question about esports in elementary school. I'm not sure that there's anything to elaborate on there, but the question was there.
I see here. Are there any sports available to elementary schoolers?
So sports wise, there's not like I guess the high school and middle school sports, it's not the same. However, I mean, you got local rec that they can partake in. Of course, you got Pop Warner stuff, AAU, just different little avenues to actually for kids to be able to, showcase their sports talents in the elementary school.
Yeah, definitely. And we know that they're doing it in the classroom too.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the really cool initiatives that we have started this year is something called Driving Engagement, powered by golf. It's in a few select pilot schools, but we're hoping to expand. And what it is bringing golf curriculum into our PE classrooms so that children are learning fine motor skills, incorporating that into the curriculum and the things that they're learning, but also learning the sport of golf. Isn't that right, Keisha?
That is correct. So we're driving engagement with our students with an interdisciplinary approach. So conversations are happening across the content areas in addition to what's happening inside of the PE classroom. So we're very excited about this opportunity. We're excited and look forward to some great growth with our students.
All right. I have a question about work-based learning. Is the work-based learning credit transferable to other states, particularly for military students?
Yes, so your work-based learning credits are transferable because they count as elective credits. So depending upon what that state needs as far as elective credits, those work-based learning credits will transfer over. But it's also important to note that the state of Georgia has a new work-based learning diploma option, which is really, really great. And so we'll be looking forward to having some students engage that as well.
Okay. All right. All right, let me look and see, make sure that we're getting everybody. A question about marching band for Miss Ponder. What performing arts opportunities are available to students in areas like orchestra, marching band, and dance? And can boys participate in dance with the marching band?
Yes, boys can participate, and we have multiple opportunities at our various schools for our students to have exposure to those opportunities that you just mentioned, Haley.
But you gotta try out. So practice your dancing skills.
There is a process. There's a process. So please reach out to the teachers in your building to make sure that they understand that you are interested. It's very important that our students share their interest level, and that also helps with programming at the school level as well.
Yeah. And I have another question here, and I'll help with this too, and you guys can chime in. Sounds like there's some great opportunities for middle and high school students. What about activities and competitions for elementary school? So we touched on a few, but maybe we can kind of expound on that.
So let me pop in before teaching and learning because they have all the competitions. We do have an opportunity for an elementary robotics competition. So all of our elementary schools started a Lego robotics club last year. And so those clubs will be competing. So please, if you're at the elementary school level, we have STEM teachers and we're getting ready to launch our elementary robotics competition. But the club started last year. So we're really, really excited about that.
Okay, that sounds fun.
In addition to those opportunities at the elementary level, we also have the spelling bee for our students. We have math team competition opportunities in addition to the Helen Reed and Ruffin Bowl. So lots of opportunities to grow our students starting in elementary school.
Yeah, anything you wanted to add on that, Mr. Medlin?
Nope, she got it. Those are some great opportunities.
The math competition is really, really fun. So if you guys have not joined one of our elementary or middle and high school math competitions, it's a huge deal. We have teams from every single one of our schools come, usually at a third-party location. I think we usually have at the hub, and we've had it at a few other locations. But they come for a full day, and they compete in a lot of different problem-solving, competitions and little challenges and stuff like that. And they're already way better at math than me. So
and I want to add too that for any of these competitions, especially at the elementary school level, like let interest be enough for your kid to want to join those teams. If they're interested in math, they're interested in the spelling bee, if they're interested in the Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl, that can be enough for an entry into one of those clubs and can really develop a love for some of those content areas and skills.
Yeah, I think something too, isn't Young Authors competition available to some of our elementary school, maybe upper elementary school levels?
That's kindergarten through 12th grade. So Young Georgia Authors, they'll hear more about this at the school level. They will submit a written submission, a piece of literary work, and then those items will be scored. So that is another opportunity for writing.
And I think there's also some art competitions that happen too in our elementary schools that they participate in. So there's different levels of competition for our elementary schoolers as well.
Isn't there one going on right now for the fair with some of our elementary school students? They should be getting the color in a bear, I think, if I remember correctly, in a competition for the fair.
Okay, so your teacher should be telling you guys about those opportunities soon. Okay, moving on. I'm going to go back to our pre-recorded questions. One for Dr. Maybe, perhaps. What classes can I enroll in if I want to get a scholarship in animation or video game design?
So, first of all, the process that you can enroll in is to ensure that you're making great grades in your core academic courses. So, GPA has to be high, not just in those CTAE or those courses that you really love. You really have to make sure you've done what you need to do as far as being a well-rounded student. There are lots of scholarships that are out there and scholarship boards on each school's website, and we're working to put up a master one at the district level. So again, just start scouring for those scholarships. Go to the school that you want to attend. Go to their webpage to see exactly what financial aid offerings those are. Don't think the word financial aid means just loan. It means scholarship opportunities. How can we aid you financially? And start looking at those things. But again, the best way to get a scholarship, parents of anybody who's in the ninth grade, GPAs are built in grade 9. Kids have got to get good grades. This is where A's count the most because by the time you become a junior, it's hard to move your GPA. So again, buckle down, get her done.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And okay, next question. But again, if you're joining us, please, we're still accepting Q&A. Go ahead and ask your question if we haven't answered it yet. We have about 20 minutes left. A question for Mr. Kelly about sports. So we purchase tickets for all of our athletic events through GoFan. And I have a question here that says, where do the proceeds from all that ticket sale money go when you purchase a ticket for an athletic event?
So the proceeds for the tickets that are purchased through GoFan, they go to, of course, uniforms back to the kids and the schools, equipment, paying for like officials, and then of course like taking care of like security and any form of workers that work those games as well.
Like officials are very pricey from what I understand. A lot of the budget goes towards getting those
That is,
officials on the courts and on the fields.
that is true.
And I think too, I don't want to skip over the fact that not every district does that, but we purchase uniforms for our students, so that is not a barrier to them participating in those
Correct.
sports. Something that we just thought was really important. So your ticket sales are benefiting that as well. All right, let me see. Another question here. Let's see, I think we've pretty much answered that. Okay. Will there be any new sports? Sorry, I'm going back to you, Mr. Kelly. Will there be any new sports programs offered at our middle and high school programs this year?
Currently not this year. We're going to keep with the sports that we currently have. There's always conversation about potentially adding sports, whether it's high school or middle school. But I mean, it's always collective effort on trying to make sure that we establish those sports and make sure that we have the interest to actually partake in those sports.
Yeah. So if you guys are interested in a sport, sound off in the chat. Let us know. Let your panelists know. What do you want to be involved in? Let's see. I have a question here about zone exemptions. So I think this is relating to sports. Is it possible to get a zone exemption to participate in a sport? Can you talk a little bit about what that process looks like again, Coach Kelly?
So obviously, like I said, Richmond County does offer House Bill 251. It's a certain timeline on you applying for that, of course. But and it's certain schools that you are able to actually go to off the House Bill 251. But that doesn't necessarily make you eligible for sports. Upon high school sports, middle school sports are a little bit different. They're not governed by Georgia High School, but high school sports are governed by Georgia High School. So we play by a different set of rules on that level. And like I actually said earlier, it's certain documentation that you must have in order for your child to be eligible if they do decide to go from one zone to another zone without, of course, moving and stuff. So,
Yeah. Thank you for that. I have a question here. I think maybe Wiley for the group. Question says, if an elementary school wants to start a new activity or competitive program, are there incentives available for faculty or staff to become coaches and mentors to facilitate starting or participating in those activities? It's kind of a loaded question. Do we allow others to sponsor activities in our school, I think is the question.
I can help with that, and then maybe we can fill in the blanks.
Mhm.
But as far as at the school, if if your child is interested in a student interest type club, it's the same approach, and it may not be offered at your school. The same approach that you take to finding out what's offered at your school would be a great approach to take on if there would be the possibility for a chess club or something like that your child might be interested in starting, which is to talk to somebody at the school, a teacher, an administrator, kind of get that ball rolling. And seeing if, maybe could there be a teacher sponsor? Is there more interest? What processes might be in place at that school to gauge interest or to add a club and those types of things. So I think, again, it's a great question, and it's probably best answered by someone at that school.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
But then let me know
also
if you sound
for
off.
our CTSOs, actually go down to the middle school level. So our middle schools are actively engaged in starting CTSOs. I know Pine Hill and Bel Air Middle have already started their student recruitment and are going to our fall rally. So really great opportunities for FBLA and DECA at the middle school.
And I'll say this too for our families, our adults who have suggestions for how to improve, how to add more programs. Hey, I think this would be a really great value add to my school and to our students at the school. Let your administrators know. There are also opportunities for parents to engage with our schools and help the school improvement process. We're going to talk about parent engagement next month, sneak preview on that. But we have school councils that are made up of adults, community members, and parents in every single one of our schools. That process, we're actively recruiting for that now. So if you have a lot of ideas on, insights on how to improve the school, want to get more of an insight on academics and how to improve, in that area too, there are areas for you to engage. You can also join your school's PTA or PTO. Those are ways too to continually say, hey, I want to advocate for this program, or hey, I think this would be a really great idea and our students would benefit. Take advantage of those opportunities. Okay. Moving on, we have about 10 minutes left. Again, if you have a question, put that in our Q&A and we'll answer it for you live here. I'm going to jump back to teaching and learning. And you touched on this a little bit, but maybe we can kind of have a little bit more of a conversation about this. We talked a little bit about, well, this entire conversation has been about getting involved. And I guess the question is, you know, if you already have a full course load and maybe you have a student who's just really focused on getting good grades, why is getting involved in these things, athletics and special programs, extracurriculars, why is that also important in addition to academics?
I'll chime in. I'll
Go
chime in
ahead.
from a athletic standpoint. I mean, I think one of the biggest thing is it allows kids opportunities beyond middle school, beyond high school, for higher level opportunities. And like I said, whether that's partaking in playing football, basketball, or that's being going to Harvard or Yale based off your academics, it allows you to be a more well-rounded individual.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think that's totally true. It builds discipline and something that was really clear to me when we had our football media day. So for the first time in a few years, earlier this year to jumpstart the season, we had a media day where selected athletes, student athletes came and talked about their experience on the program. And I thought it was a really great way to see the relationship between the coach and the student because they're students first. And it really goes hand in hand. They're helping them keep accountable. They're supporting that student, and you really have somebody in the school building and outside of the school building who's advocating for your child. So athletics are a great value add in that way. Ms. Ponder, did you want to add anything about the importance of programs and why you need to do something outside of the classroom in addition to inside?
It just helps our students become well-rounded. It provides them an opportunity to engage in what they're interested in, and also to build friendships with others. And it helps to prepare them for life beyond the classroom as well. Just as Coach Lawrence mentioned, it's important for our kids to have a multiple array of various experiences. So we're here to support our students with helping them to balance that as well.
And also thinking about the fact that it's a networking opportunity. Students have to make connections so that they can have next experience. So being a part of an athletic team helps you build connections with coaches who may help you with the game, but help you beyond the game. So again, all of these things are not only just to make you well-rounded, but also to teach you how to connect with other people, get off your device and get in with the folks. So that way you can have somebody to advocate for you and you can advocate for yourself.
The soft skills, right? Because it's not about just scoring well on a test.
I think everything's about soft skills.
Yeah, we're trying to build the workforce, 22nd century workforce.
That's it.
Thank you for that, guys. Oh, here's a question for Dr. Mabry that I'm seeing live here. What pathways or classes go with students getting a certification from Augusta University or Augusta Tech? I think that depends, right? But maybe you can talk a little bit
Yeah,
about
so
what that course.
all of the pathways articulate to our post-secondary institutions. So Augusta University, cybersecurity is one of the new pieces that is really hot and moving off the market, as well as the healthcare campus. Think about the Somerville campus versus the medical campus. So there are lots and lots of opportunities. So again, it all articulates to post-secondary. That's the whole purpose of a pathway, to lead you to the path for your post-secondary options, whether it's 6 months, 2 year, 4 year institution. We're here to help.
Yeah. I have a question here, and I can help answer this one. A few different questions I see coming in about zone exemptions, just generally. My child wants to attend a different school other than the school that they're zoned for. What's that process look like? So invite you to join us in October for our school choice community conversations, where we'll go over really in depth how you can go about applying for that zone exemption through House Bill 251 in schools with capacity. But basically, every year in November, we open up applications for people to apply for House Bill 251 if that school has space for you. So you fill out the application, and if it's approved, then your child can attend another school outside of their zone school, but you have to provide transportation to that school. So again, if you're interested in zone exemptions and school choice opportunities, come back to Community Conversations in October, where we'll talk in depth about that for you guys. But in the meantime, let's get another question going. If a student is interested in dual enrollment, will they have to start in the fall semester, or will they be able to start in the spring? So if they're interested right now and they want to apply tomorrow.
Students can start dual enrollment in any semester, including the summer semester. But the very first part of dual enrollment is getting a Georgia Futures account. And again, that's going to be a push for our counselors in the month of September to ensure that 100% of our students have Georgia Futures accounts. And any member of the class of 2027 with your Georgia Futures account, you are automatically accepted into the colleges in the state of Georgia of which you are eligible, and that'll be the match day letters that come out at the end of November, beginning of December. So please make sure that your Georgia Futures account is active, because it's time to get you accepted into college.
Absolutely.
Dr. Mabry, could you touch on the GPA implications once you start a college class while you're still in high school, and
Oh,
how you're
absolutely.
building it
So
in both places?
one of the great things about approaching those advanced study courses, whether it's dual enrollment or advanced placement or even international baccalaureate, they're on a weighted scale. So what happens is the scale is a 4.0 scale. However, when I take a college course in dual enrollment at the university, an A won't be worth 4 points, it'll be worth 5 points. So that's why sometimes you'll see kids that might have a GPA of 4.56, and you think, well, how? It's only 4 points. That's because they've gone the extra step to do those advanced studies. So they got more credit, because the courses are definitely much more rigorous, because they're courses that students are paying to take at the university level. So again, when somebody was asking, how do I get those scholarships? Get in those AP courses, get in those dual enrollment courses, and really take them seriously and do your best.
Absolutely. All right, I have a question here for teaching and learning. So I think we covered this actually. What are the best ways to get academic support and tutoring if I struggle? Reach out to your teacher. utilize those free tutoring programs that are available to every single one of our students. Let me take a look at the Q&A here. So I think we have a question here, and I think this is about perhaps business partnerships. So how can the private sector, I'm assuming businesses outside in our community, engage with our school system to provide summer internship opportunities for our students?
Absolutely. So first of all, send me an email. We'll get you connected. We have a business advisory council, a workforce development advisory council that meets 2 times a year. So we engage our business partners. This year, we're starting a new advisory for workforce development to go along with our work-based learning programs. And then if you're a member of the Augusta Metro Chamber of Commerce, the Augusta Metro Chamber of Commerce seeks its business partners to come in and be a part of that Students to Work program. That's only a summer program, but we do have a few of our business partners like Haley and the Richmond County School System who have students throughout the year for internships. So if you're looking to employ a young person at about $13 an hour, get with me. I got you. We can get you. So I got plenty of kids if you've got the money to pay them.
$13 an hour. Oh my gosh, as a high
Not
schooler,
bad.
I was working
Not
for
bad.
pennies in my school grocery or my local grocery store, and it probably wasn't legal either, what they were paying me back in the day.
And it's great on the job training.
Okay, so looking through here, let's scan through, see more questions, more questions. If you guys have any more questions, we have about 2 minutes left. But if we don't see any more, and I don't believe we do, I think we've pretty much answered everything, which for once, which is awesome. Thank you guys so much for your insights. Want to open it up to our panelists for any closing statements. If you had anything to say to our attendees, whether they're a family member or a student, take one takeaway from this session. What's something that our families and students can do right now to get involved in their schools? Mr. Medlin, maybe I'll start with you.
Sure. I want to say start with your child. Have a conversation with them about what they're interested in. And I would, if it's related to school, if it's related to a club, if it's related to athletics, there's going to be something that's offered for your child at the school that they attend. If not at the school they attend, maybe it's a summer camp. Maybe it's like Mr. Kelly mentioned, something at the local YMCA or the rec leagues. But start with your child and listen to them, engage their interests, and then go from there with what the schools offer.
Coach Kelly, what do you think? One takeaway.
I think the biggest thing is try, go out and partake in whether it's basketball, football, golf, esports. It's a lot of different opportunities out there for kids to become more well-rounded. And I mean, the biggest thing you can sit there and do is just give it a shot, give it a try. And if it doesn't work out, I mean, there's other options for you to explore other sports. So other sports, other activities. So like I said, get out and get involved.
Yeah. Dr. Mabry?
Parents, I want to piggyback on what Jason said. Have the conversation with your students. Find out what they like. One of the things that we do as a part of our advisement piece is we do a career aptitude test, interest inventory called U Science, and it gives a lot of data about what your child has a proclivity toward. Also, the ASVAB test. It's not just for getting in the military. It tells you what it is that you're good at and the things that you like to do, and use that data to have that conversation. Don't get stuck on, I want him to go to the University of Georgia, when truthfully, Augusta Technical College and a associate's degree in cybersecurity will earn him 6 figures at 20 years old. So don't think that just because it's a 2-year institution or it's a program that it doesn't have a lucrative response at the other end. Again, nothing against the University of Georgia. That's a pathway, but remember, every industry has its educational pathway. Find out what your child wants to do and utilize that. So it might be 2 year, it might be 4 year, it might be a trucking program where they get a CDL license. Again, if that's their passion, if you're working your passion, you'll never work a day. As an educator, I love it. They wouldn't have to pay me nothing. Don't tell Dr. Cobb that. But I would do it for free. So again, talk with your child, engage the counselor, become a counselor pest. Come by and say, hey,
Yeah.
show me what my kid has to offer, show me these test results, and get involved in the advisement process with your kids. U Science, Georgia Futures, we got you.
And that is U Science. I had a question in the chat. Can we repeat that test? U
Yeah, U
Science.
Science, YOU Science.
And you'll be hearing more about that soon.
Absolutely. The window opens in September, so they'll be taking it very soon.
And then lastly, Ms. Ponder, our Chief Academic Officer, close us out. Any closing statements?
I want to say thank you, Haley, for supporting this great work, and families and our students that are online. Hey, you guys, look, just get involved. Parents, families, volunteer in your schools. There are multiple opportunities where the principals are sharing information through your shout points, through the calling posts, through Infinite Campus messaging, and also through Canvas alerts. We have family nights that are planned. There are literacy, there are math nights. Come out and join, get involved, participate, and then also talk with the principal about ideas that you have to be able to continuously volunteer in the schools.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ms. Ponder. Thank you, all of you, for taking the time to come out, speak to our parents and to our students and to our community members. Our panelists, thank you so much. We appreciate you. If we answered your question, I hope we were able to answer your question tonight. But again, this is Community Conversations, and we have these every single month. So join us next month in September, on September 24th, Thursday, September 24th at 6 p.m., where the next topic is going to be, drum roll, trying to remember, parent engagement in Title I. So if you're a family member, come back with us in October, because we're going to be talking all about parents' right to know, Title I resources, really essential information about wraparound supports and how you can volunteer in our schools and in our school system. So join us next month. This is Community Conversations, and this is Haley LaQuesta. Thank you guys, and have a great night.